What's up, everybody? I hope this finds you all well and happy. Uh, Staying cool because it's kind of a scorcher today. Um, we are back with the Powerbomb covering Mania 35, Mania 35 and the takeover that preceded it. And this is about 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks before the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. So better late than never, but this again, as is most of the stuff that I'm recording today, got pushed back by one of the hardest, longest, most draining fights with depression and hating myself I've ever had in my life. But hopefully, uh, you know, that fight's over, at least for a little while, and I can get back to doing what I love. So, we're going to start with the takeover, of course. First was the War Raiders, as they were called at that time, versus Ricochet and Aleister Black for the NXT tag titles. This was just amazing. These four guys can work their asses off with each other, and the chemistry is undeniable. The two big guys, Hanson and Rowe, matched the top two stars on the brand in Black and Ricochet, move for move, and it was amazing. The War Raiders won and kept the tag straps. The post-match respect from both the Raiders and the crowd literally brought tears to my eyes. Next we had Matt Riddle and Velveteen Dream for the North American title. I noticed coming out of this that Dream can adapt to any style, and adapt well to any style. He went move for move with Riddle, and while the Dream character has his detractors, it is my opinion that this match should stop all of that. And I don't know that it will, but it should. Great work from both of these guys. Riddle loses after a surprise pin, because he basically did what Shayna did in her 2 losses to Kairi Sane, and pinned himself. Now, that to me is indicative of he just got into the sports entertainment side of things, and those issues will eventually be rectified. But surprise pin, both great work from both, and both are going to end up being stars down the line. Next, we had Pete Dunne versus Walter for the NXT UK title. This was just a hard-hitting, smash-mouth, British-European style match, and I loved every bit of it. Walter wins and ends Dunne's amazing 600-plus day UK Championship run. And I cannot, just like I said, amazed by both guys. Next we had Io Shirai, Bianca Belair, Kairi Sane and Shayna Baszler for the NXT Women's title. Um, this was again great stuff from four women that know how to work, and for me to say that about Shayna is an improvement because just ask Lizzie, she'll tell you. It's just an improvement. Just go with it and take it. Um, I don't like the Belair character, but she can work her ass off. Um, she got my respect in her last match with Shayna, um, but because she got my respect does not mean that I like her character, because I don't. Let's see, what else? All four women have grit in spades, and I respect grit more than anything else on the planet, pretty much. Let's see. Shayna retained without her. She actually won clean, without help, which I respect because I didn't actually expect that. I expected Duke and Shafir to run interference and help her retain, but she did it on her own. Good going. Next we had Adam Cole and Johnny Gargano for the vacated NXT title. Title was vacated due to injury suffered by Tommaso Ciampa. If you don't know how that happened, and I honestly have no words to really describe this match. It was just, I stayed literally from start to finish like this. Um, and at one point, I started having flashbacks. I swear to God, I shit you not, to Flair Steamboat's trilogy of matches in 1989. It was really that good. Um, Johnny gets his first run with the NXT uh, title. I was going to say heavyweight title, but it's NXT's main title. Um, and at the end, as he's standing up on the stage after he left the ring with Candice, Tommaso comes out and hugs them both and raises their hands. And the show fades to black. This was a great show from top to bottom, with not a stinker on the card, not a match I would say skip. Watch this entire show. Becca and Jen, if you're reading this or you're listening to it, all that stuff is watch listed for you. I usually pick a match of the night, but in this case, I'm not gonna pick one because I can't do it. All of them, all five, you can make legit cases for being match of the night. So I'm just not gonna do it because it's just that hard. And I actually love that the shows are so good that I cannot pick one match. So good on you, chicks and dudes from NXT. Next we're gonna go to Mania Tray 5, and first couple of stuff is first couple of matches are the pre-show matches. First one was Buddy Murphy versus Tony Nese for the Cruiserweight title. Great showing by both guys here. I like what both guys can do in the ring. They work well together. It's a little short, but there are 2 or 3 matches on, or 2 or 3 other matches set for the pre-show, so I understand why they had to give it just a little bit of time. But it was good for the time that they had, and East takes the gold. Next we had the Women's Battle Royal. Hard to pick highlights from Battle Royals because they're basically glorified car wrecks anyway, and you can't really call them anything. Kairi Sane and Dana Brooke were both very impressive and stood out to me. Carmella won it, which was a head scratcher and a half, but whatever. Next we had the Revival versus Hawkins and Ryder for the Raw Tag titles. I did not know that this was going to happen when it did, so this was a complete surprise to me. There was a suplex spot in which I can't remember because it's been so long since I've watched the show. I can't remember who it was, but the spot was brutal and it looked like it was a botch. And I've learned enough in almost 35 years that if something looks brutal and looks like it was blown, it probably was. Hawkins and Ryder pull out the major upset and take the Raw Tag titles, and I'm 1000% cool with that. Last but not least on the pre-show was the Andre Battle Royal. Again, no, it's hard to pick highlights, so all I had on my notes here is Braun wins. Alright, this brings us to the main card. Started with Lesnar versus Rollins for the Universal Championship, and no, I am not kidding, they literally started with Rollins versus Lesnar. This was basically the squash that it had to be, just because Brock wanted to go away for a little while. He did his Brock smash shit to start. But once Seth got up and got his feet under him and got the flow, it wasn't Suplex City, it was Nutshot, 3 curb stomps, and boom, we have a new Universal Champion. Thank God. Thank you, Seth. I don't mind that it was fucking short as hell, because as short as I don't want to see Lesnar basically any longer than I have to. And I know I'm messing up a lot, but I'm not editing this and I'm not redoing it, so you're gonna have to deal. Next we have the Usos versus Ricochet and Black versus Nakamura and Rusev versus The Bar for the SmackDown Tag Titles. The Usos kept the gold in what essentially was a Ricochet highlight reel. Every spot that man can do, he did it, and he did it flawlessly. Next was Miz versus Shane. Oh my god. Shane McMahon is in motherfucking sane, okay? I don't think he realizes that he's pushing 50 for God's sakes. Miz is too, because he was right there with him and doing all that crazy shit. Shane won one of the damnedest matches I've ever seen. It was a suplex off of a fucking lighting rig, and oh my fucking god, just oh, go watch this, and just my mouth was the entire time. Next we have women's tag titles, Iconics, Boston Hug, Natty and Beth, Nia and Tamina. Iconics steal the gold. I'm not gonna shit on this because everybody knew, if you've been watching wrestling for any length of time, any multi-person match, the chicken shit heels that don't do anything are gonna wait until everybody else does the work and come in and steal it. I knew that going in, and I was okay with it. So, yeah. Match wasn't bad work-wise either, but Nia almost added Peyton Royce to her body count, for God's sake. Whew. I'm glad Peyton is quick, because, oh my god, that would have seriously hurt her and probably ended her career had Nia fallen on her the way she was leaning. Anyway. Next you had Kofi and Bryan for the World Heavyweight title. This structurally reminded me of the Iron Man match between Shawn and Brett at Mania 12, in that Kofi had about half the match, Bryan had about half the match, and then the finish was back and forth like that. Difference between this and the Mania 12 match, though, it wasn't Kofi takes first half, Bryan takes second half. They kind of alternated in 5-minute segments, who had an advantage. So at the end of the match, it laid out to Bryan took half and Kofi took half. But like I said, they did it in 5-minute segments, which I thought was really, really well done. Kofi gets the moment and title that he is more than deserving of, and it's moments like that people can come in. Why do you watch that shit? It's like this one. I don't care. I'll never give up on it. It's never given up on me. Not telling you to like it. Next, you had Joe and Ray Ray for the US title. I love Ray Ray, man. I've been on his train since AAA in '94 at the When Worlds Collide pay-per-view, and I'll always be the conductor of that train, but sometimes it's just hard to watch him wrestle anymore, and he needs to get out of the ring and transition either to an agent or go down to NXT and help down there, because he has knowledge that can be imparted upon generations to come, and he has shown willingness to give it, but he doesn't need to be in the ring to work with these kids. Let him go down to NXT, let him train guys down there, or if you don't want him in NXT, let him be an agent. He's got knowledge, he can impart knowledge that way too, so but yeah, it's just hard to watch sometimes when your heroes, you know that they have literally almost nothing left, but they don't. It just becomes painful to watch. Joe won a complete 30-second squash. It was just sad. I wasn't pissed. I wasn't mad. I was just sad to see Ray Ray has fallen that far, that fast, that on Mania he is involved in a 30-second squash. I can remember a few Manias ago, like 10 or so I think, he did the same thing to JBL. He beat JBL for the SmackDown Heavyweight title in like 30 seconds, and that was Bradshaw's last match. So to have seen him on both sides of that, being the one to end somebody's and being the one that to have basically his career ended, whether he knows it or not, whether he wants it to be or not, it's sad. Let's see. Drew versus Roman was next. This was great considering Roman's understandable rust. I mean, he had been out of the ring for almost a year at this point. And he made Drew look like a star that he is, and gave us flashes of the old Roman that you will see when the rust is completely worked off. And as of this recording, that rust is completely off, and he is back to his old self. So it's great. Roman wins, of course. And next we had an Elias segment, and John Cena interrupted as the Doctor of Thugonomics. And I just want one last, before he retires, one last Doctor of Thugonomics run, just for the sheer coolness of it. It's amazing to me that fans today don't know what that was and how cool that actually was. So can we please give him a glimpse of that? Other than a 3-minute Wrestlemania segment. Next was Angle and Corbin. Not really much to say. Corbin wins. Angle gets the grand send-off afterwards. Whatever. Next you had Lashley versus Balor for the IC title. The Demon always wins. He comes out painted up as the Demon. The Demon always wins. The best part of this match, for me, it was decent. Given who Finn had to work with. But the best part of this to me was, I think at one point when Finn came after Leo, he legit for a shoot shit his pants, I think. And I just rolled laughing for like 5 minutes. Because, yeah, you could just tell. He came at him, he growled at him, and he just legit shit his pants. At least I think that he did, because that's kind of what that look was. Main event time. You had Ronnie, Charlotte versus Becky. Match was good. Body of the match delivered, as I thought it would. Finish of the match left me with one glaring question. Why on earth would you put a rookie referee in a ring to referee the main event of the biggest show of your year. That to me is the most important slot on the goddamn card. Should have gone to Charles Robinson or Mike Chioda, one of the two senior officials. And that finish was messed up, and it was messed up by the referee. And it wasn't the three, it was the referee. I think the OG finish was supposed to be Becky taps Ronnie out. But I don't think it was supposed to happen when it did in the way that it did. And that's all on the referee himself. Fuck that guy. Don't put him in a main event going forward. Matter of fact, I would advocate going forward that all main events on pay-per-views should be refereed by either Chioda or Robinson. That way, you at least know if there's a fuck up, it's something that was out of their control, because those two guys know what the fuck they're doing. The match itself was still awesome, although the shitty finish. I would have also brought Chris Sharp in, because I know he was there for Mania, because he was on Twitter and Facebook posting pictures and stuff. And Chris Sharp to me is another guy that you could have put in that slot, and it would have been fine. I know Chris Sharp from OVW, because he was there for those 3 years of Wednesdays that I went down there every week to watch the show from like 03 to 06. And he was just very, very awesome. So I would have been cool seeing him in that spot as well. Let's see. Becky takes both titles, but that finish though was just ugh. Final thoughts. Dude, this was a fucking long ass day for me, and I loved every single second of it. I only do this once a year, and it never fails. At least for me, it never fails to not disappoint me. In my opinion, there wasn't a bad match on the show, pre or main. No match on the show stunk up the joint. Everything ranged from good for the time given. Again, pre-show referenced earlier, there were 4 matches, so they had to kind of condense the time to fit 4 matches in 2 hours. It was awesomely bonkers from start to finish, literally. Match of the night goes to Kofi and Bryan, followed closely, surprisingly, by Dave and Hunter, and I just realized I didn't go through that match. That was just the Hunter and Batista match was a car wreck, and Shawn Michaels and Corey Graves on commentary made the match all that much more enjoyable for me. Hunter wins, Dave retires, and there we go. So there you go, my thoughts on Mania, even the match that I missed. Sorry I missed it in my rundown here, but I just realized when I was looking at my notes that I didn't go through it. Um, Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for fostering. Without y'all, I couldn't do what I do. Um, Appreciate everything. I love y'all, and we'll be back again soon with more. Peace.